Hello, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for stepping aside. Let's just go into it, guys, because it's a lot and I need to make sure that I explain everything that I had done. I started by boiling my water and then I added a little bit of oil, and then I am blanching my potatoes. The oil was not necessary, but I just thought that perhaps if ever I come across them sticking, it's going to make life easy, but I didn't do it throughout the day. And this is how I check the texture, because I don't want them overcooked or raw. So for me, I must be able to break them easily, but I still need them to have that structure. So I blanched them and I'm taking them out, and we're gonna do the next step. Thank you so much for coming this side once more. Thank you for the support, the love. This is the last episode of this food preservation, and once that has cooled a bit, I transfer it onto the pan. If you have casserole dishes, you can use those casserole dishes that you're gonna put in a freezer. This is how I freeze them before I package them and put it in a freezer for us to consume at a later stage. I must say, potatoes did show me flames. So yesterday, the last time you saw me was me putting them on a tray, and I was done. I felt like I was not winning. But this morning, I woke up with a different mindset, and I thought one bag that was not full, and then here you seeing me pet drying it, and I am deep frying it after pet drying it, and it came out so beautifully, guys. If I were to tell you how I felt yesterday before I went to bed, I was ready to throw in the towel. But you know what, they are telling the truth when they say if you're struggling, step back, take a moment, breathe, sleep if you have to, wake up and try again. That's exactly what I did. And to say that I was excited is an understatement, guys. I was so happy when I saw them the whole day. I remember taking a couple and going to show my husband that I got it. These are slab cheese, like you won't even see that they were frozen. So I managed to blanch potatoes, put them in a freezer, took them out of the freezer, thawed them, and deep fried them, and I got the most delicious slab chips, like the slab chips that I love, those ones that is jiggly. I love crisp chips, but not as much as slab chips. So I was so excited. I felt like I had won lotto, guys. Ooh, retadilo, it's something else. I'm telling you, this was my first time ever trying to preserve potatoes, and I think I did good. If I may say so myself. Anyway, for me, I was happy with how everything turned out. I loved how they came about, and that also gave me confidence to start on another bag, because I had done one bag and I was like, okay, I'm done. I remember before I went to bed last night, I was like, I'm done. But today I woke up excited, seeing that it was actually working. So another thing that I did not, excuse my daughter, she loves making noise this time of the day. I don't know why. Another thing that I did not realize was that how much of cuts I was going to find or have when I'm cutting the chips. So from the potatoes that had defects actually. So I didn't really need and 2 bags of hash browns, because by the time I was starting on hash browns, they were already, like, I had already 2 bags in the freezer. So I pat dry them. The of cuts, I cut them in hash brown sizes. I pat dry them, and I drizzled a little bit of olive oil and salt, and I put them in an oven. And this is me now putting it in a dish that I'm going to put in a freezer for them to freeze. Then we will put them in a package. That's how I am doing them. You can have this for breakfast with your eggs and sausages, the works. So these are the chips that I made, that I blanched yesterday, and they are frozen. So I'm going to break them apart, the ones that are together. Even if you don't, that's okay. And then I'm packaging them. One thing that I can say that I did wrong on the first bag was that there were a couple of chips that were not immersed in water before I blanched them, and they somewhat turned a little bit dark. So make sure that all your potatoes are in water, are covered in water, so that you don't have those ones that are slightly black. I'm going to be honest with you guys about everything, because this is an experiment, and this is, if you are watching me, if you want to do what I'm doing, I need to be honest with you. So this is the second bag that I am starting, and I am doing a different method. I'm also blanching it, and I'm going to let them cool down. Then I'm going to pat dry them. Then I will deep fry them. So basically what I'm doing is, if I was blanching them, the first bag I blanched them for 5 to 6 minutes. This one is gonna be 3 minutes just for it to boil, and then I take it out. I pat dry them, let them cool, pat dry them, and I deep fry them. Not all the way through, no. I just want them to have a bit of oil, and this is the one that I am going to coat. It's going to be coated chips. That's why I am making it this. So you can see it still looks a little bit raw, but remember, it's going to be frozen. So when you can cook them straight from the freezer. So when you cook them, you are going to continue cooking. So you don't need to fry them all the way through, because that will mean that they're going to be overcooked, which will make them dry. So I am coating them with corn flour. Personally, I didn't like this one, guys. It's somewhere coated okay, and some were heavily coated. And another thing about me is that as much as I enjoy junk food there and there, I don't like my food that much rich every single time. So I don't think this was the smartest thing for me to coat an entire 10 kg bag of potato with corn flour. I should have done a little bit and see if I like it, but I coated it. I coated them and I froze them, and this is how they look. Don't get me wrong, guys, they are very delicious. They are nice. It makes them crispy, but personally I feel like I can only have a handful of them, and then I wouldn't want to have more. So for me, I don't know. I think for me, this is the stage that I would have left them at. I was going to freeze them like this, and then package them. Once they're frozen, package them. And if I need something coated, I would take a little bit coat, deep fry them, and then I will get that crispiness. So, but I'm okay with that. And I'm also thinking that maybe because I've been tasting too much of potatoes, maybe after a while it wouldn't be so rich for me when I am eating them. But personally, like I said, I want to be honest with you guys. Don't coat them. You can try a little bit if you want to, see if you like it, but I wouldn't coat an entire bag if you are going to do a whole 10 kgs. So that was the downside for it, but my family enjoyed them. This is the following day, or should I say after a couple of hours, which is the following day. This is how I am deep frying them. I'm not deep frying them the entire bag again. I'm deep frying them so that I can give you guys the feedback and you can see how they look when they are fried straight from the freezer. This is how they look. So it doesn't even show that they were frozen, honestly. So I think both method, the first one and this one, they are pretty okay. And these are the potatoes that I cut them slightly big because I felt that I had too much hash brown. So I'm not going to make more, so I decided to cut them in that sizes. I will explain to you why as the time goes. So I needed to do something the following day. Guys, preserving took me 7 days. 7 full days, including the fruits and everything. So I'm making this bread that I found on YouTube. That is a no knead rustic bread, and I want to see if it works. It's 7 a.m. in the morning, and I just measured 8 cups of flour, 1.5 ml of yeast, dry yeast, and a tablespoon and a little bit of salt, but it was too salty. I would say use level salt on this one, or even less. And then you are going to add water. As you see, it's supposed to be shaggy. It shouldn't be all the way mixed. It shouldn't be sticky. It should be like it still needs to be worked. And I had put a little bit more water, so I ended up putting 3/4 cup of flour again, just so that I can get it to the texture that it's supposed to. It shouldn't have reached this texture. It should have been left when it was still crumbly a bit and all of that. And I left it until 5 p.m. It was 7 a.m. I left it on the counter until 5 p.m. and we will shape it then. These are the potatoes that I had put on this pan last night, and they are here frozen. So these ones, guys, this can be for your casseroles, if you understand. Like, you can just add broccoli, cauliflower, your cooked chicken, your white sauce, and then sprinkle a little bit of cheese, your mozzarella, your cheddar on top, and bake perhaps for 20 minutes, depending. You will see how your potatoes have warmed up, because they will be straight from the freezer. But the nice thing about them is that means your vegetables are not going to be overcooked. So this can be used for that. Or you can add your eggs. You can beat eggs, cheese, onion, your peppers with a little bit of cream there and put it on top. Spread it on top, and that will be a very nice breakfast, kind of like when you make quiche, And these are the hash browns. You can see that the size is different. It's frozen as well, and I am packaging them, and I'm going to put them in a freezer in that way. I'm trying to talk very quick, which is not my thing, because I feel like I can't hear myself when I'm doing that. But I don't want to make this video way longer than it is supposed to. So we are now starting on roast potato and mashed potato. Some of them I cut them in half, and some of them I left them as whole, and I have the leftover of the potatoes that are supposed to be the hash brown, because that was it. I have enough hash browns, so the rest I just cut them to make mashed potato. I just blanched them. I'm gonna let them cool, freeze them, then we will cook up them tomorrow, see how they cook. This is the dough around 5 p.m. and we are now going to shape it. The instruction there on YouTube says you can dampen your dishcloth and cover your dough with wet dishcloth instead of it being dry, so that it doesn't get dry like mine was. But I'm okay because it's rustic. I don't mind the dryness, honestly. So what we do is that we're going to pinch it together into the middle and try to close it up until the bottom is smooth, and we turn it around, and we're going to put it in a bowl with the baking paper like this, because that is how we are going to bake it. And we will leave it on the counter for another 30 minutes with the dish towel covered. And in that 30 minutes we are going to heat our oven at 190 degrees and put our cast iron pot in there up until the 30 minutes passes. And when that happens, then we're gonna put our bread. I'll show you. Here I'm simply just shaping the remaining dough because I made 8 cups. So 8 cups gives me 1 loaf, and if it's 4 cups gives me 1 loaf, 8 cups is going to give me 2 loaves. My other cast iron I have already used for something else, so I'm simply just going to shape this in a small loaves, and I will bake them as they are. I don't know what to call them, because the ones that are shaped this way, they have a name, but I know their dough is prepared differently than this one. This is our cast iron pot, hot from the oven, and we are going to put our bread in there and put it back into the oven for 30 minutes with the lid on. And once the 30 minutes is over, we're gonna take it out, take the lid off, and let it bake for another 15 minutes until it's golden brown. So this is the pomegranate that we bought. This is how much I got from the entire box. We only consumed 1 from that, or was it 2? And this is how much we got. I'm not going to freeze it. I'll put it in a bottle because I know bottle has a way of keeping things fresh for longer. And the remaining I'll put it in a freezer bag and put it in a freezer. We'll see, maybe I can use it for some drinks that I love experimenting with in future. We'll see how I utilize it in future. This is the bread. This is how it came out. Next time I'll score it. I didn't want to score it because I didn't know how it was going to come about. So I'll score it next time so that it can explode the right. I don't know if it is the right weight for me to use. This is how it looks from the oven. It was almost burning. I had forgotten about it. I was so busy that I forgot about it. So it nearly got burnt. Thank God I remembered before it was ruined. So I'm going to bake these ones as well into the oven. And I was very, very, very happy with how it came out. They say you must do this underneath if it's hollow, or I don't know if it's shallow or hollow. That means it's cooked, and it was, and it's cooked. It was cooked perfectly. This, I must say, this has been the easiest rustic bread that I've ever made, and I was happy with the result. I'm definitely going to try it again, and I think it's easy. I mean, I think this one, I think my husband can even make or even Theo. So it's another day. The potatoes that I was cooking yesterday, they are now frozen, that I was blanching, they are now frozen, and the mashed potato ones as well are now frozen, and I'm happy with how they are. I love the fact that they did not change color, because potatoes are tricky, guys, are very, very, very tricky. So I'm going to try the frozen roast potatoes for you guys, just to see how they cook in the oven. And I just melted butter and seasoned it with the seasoning of your choice, and I added a little bit of olive oil there, and I roasted, I don't know for how long, but I can say until the skin starts shrinking, then you would know that it is ready. And then I am going to cook mash again. The only reason I'm doing this, guys, is so that I do not tell you that I have done something and don't show you how it cooks. No, I want to be sure that when I post something that I had done, at least I know how it cooks. Even after, I'm still going to show you how it turns out. Well, after it's been in a freezer for some time, and then I will let you know. So the remaining, I'm going to put it in a freezer bag. I still have 2 big pans and more that is not frozen yet, and the halved one and the diced one is going to be for mashed potato, and the full one will be for roasted potato. And this is how it came out, and it was cooked perfectly. I'm happy with how they came out. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.